Alright, well, I thought I would go ahead and shoot another video here, give you an update on the partial progress, at least, I've made on this 590A, Fisher 590A power amplifier. So the last video I was kind of just showing you what I had done to that point, which was pretty much just replacing the Electrolytics. I was in the process of replacing these two can caps here. Obviously that's done, and I still had this one to replace. I didn't try to restuff that. I went ahead and just bought a whole new can cap because honestly that was the cheapest alternative rather than trying to get the values that I needed. This is actually only a I think it's just the 3 section cap. The original one was 4, so I had to stick another one up under the chassis. Not a big deal though. So the big news though on this is that I was able to, with the help of one of the members on audiokarma.org, a little plug for Audio Karma, great guys. I was able to find a set of replacement output transistors on eBay. The guy kind of looked at the circuit, looked at the schematic. He had done a lot of transistor repair back in the 70s, and he recommended these. And these are Motorola 2N6314s, if that means anything to anyone. It sure doesn't to me, other than that's the type number. But one thing I did do was I requested that, well, first of all, I figured that there would be some kind of a beta number or beta indicator on these, or a production run number or something, where you could potentially identify ones that were manufactured at the same time or under the same conditions. And I basically asked the seller if there is anything that looks like it might be that number or that identifier, if you could please give me as many of these that are the same as you can, that would be great. And they basically gave me, I bought 10, so I would have a couple spares, and 8 of the 10 all had that same number. So hopefully that was the right thing to do. It seemed like it. I would think that they would all be at least closely matched. Anyway, so I don't know. I don't know how old they are. I thought they looked old, they kind of look a little beat up. I guess maybe all transistors do. And they're Motorola's, and I thought, well, these must be like a new old stock, but then I noticed that they were made in Mexico. So I don't know. They're probably not very old, but anyhow. Had to replace these fuse holders. I could not find these little flanged, I can't think of what else to call them. The old ones you kind of like pushed in, pushed down, and twisted, and then they would come out. And I searched whatever I could on the internet, push and twist fuses, flange fuses, could not find the things. So anyways, I just replaced those, no big deal. And I decided that since I had replaced all the electrolytics, I would go ahead and fire up the Variac over here and power it up. And I did that, and everything went great. Nothing smoked, nothing blew up that I know of. And I do have output. Unfortunately, I only have output out of one channel, or good output out of one channel, and that is the, I guess it's the left channel over here. I have very, very little output out of the right channel, and I'm in the process of trying to figure out why that is and what I can do about it. I have a couple theories. My worst case scenario, I think, is that one of these guys is blown. I don't have any real reason to believe that, but that would probably be the hardest thing to replace, I'm assuming. But I have not gone ahead and snipped the wires and put the ohm meter on them to see if they were still good. So I don't know. We'll see. Let's see, I did go ahead and swap out the 12AX7, all part of the troubleshooting process. There was, I think, 3 other ones in the tuner chassis here. I've swapped them all, and I'm still getting no output out of that one channel. I find it real hard to believe that they would all be bad on just one side, so I don't think it's that tube. I flipped these guys around, and it made no difference, so I know they both work. Let's see, all my fuses are still okay, I've checked them. I have made sure that the speaker selector thing over here is cleaned out, and I've kept working it. I don't think it's that. I've actually switched the speakers. That didn't make any difference, so I know it's not the speakers. Oh, and I also switched the RCA cables going in. Just thinking about it, maybe I had a bad cable. Didn't make any difference. You know, it still just works on the one side. So I know the cables are good. I know this fuse is good. I know these guys are good. I know, well, I'm pretty sure this guy's good. It would be a real, I should probably jumper these before I go too much further. That might be one of the things I try before I go too much further, just to make sure that it's just not some short in this wire or you know, in this selector switch thing here. But anyway, and I know it's not the speakers. So that really only leaves a couple of possibilities. I could have another bad transistor, probably, or two. Or I could have just something in the signal chain here on this side before it gets to this output transistor, or I'm sorry, this driver transistor. The good news, I think, is that I have one channel that's working. So what I can probably try to do is maybe swap some things out, or you know, try to isolate certain parts of the circuit with that good, you know, with that good channel, to hopefully troubleshoot, kind of like I did with the tubes. So one of the things I'm thinking, you know, you kind of want to do the easy things first, or the easier things. I think for sure I'm going to try to jumper that speaker selector Molex connector thingy. That can be real easy. I'll try that first. But after that, I think what I'm going to do here, I hope you can see this. This light's really kind of not the best. Basically, you know, you've got your preamp tube here up at the top, right there, up here, right there. Anyway, the preamp tube up at the top, going into the driver tubes below it there, left and right. And then from there, I have a wire that goes over into, for each channel, into the driver transformers, and then onto the transistors. So I'm thinking, since I know I have this channel works over here, what I think I'm going to do is try to switch the wires that go over to the from the output tubes, or from the driver tubes here, over to the transformers, and see what that does. And I know if it works then, or works in the other speaker, I should say, then that means it's coming out of the other channel, and that means that it's not over here with the transformer or the transistors on, and it must be something back here, which would be probably the easiest or least expensive thing to fix, I guess. So that's my next big idea after I check the jump ring, or on that Molex connector. I think I'm going to go ahead and swap those wires, and we get some alligator clips and hook them onto the pins and run it over there. And then if that doesn't work, what I might try to do is kind of swap the output, or I keep calling it the output transformers because that's what I'm so used to calling them, the driver transformers, and see if that makes the other channel work. And then if that still doesn't resolve it, then I can pretty much safely assume that it must be something on the transistors. Now, my heart of hearts believes that it probably is something in the transistors, not necessarily a bad one, but I think it's probably the bias needs to be adjusted. That's my guess. But see, I don't want to take that to a tech and have them do that until I know that, you know, I don't have other major issues going on, right? And it would be easy for me to test something over here, and if it's in there, I know I can fix it, right? And if it's an output, here again, if it is a driver transformer, that's a part, right? You know, I might have trouble getting it, but you know, that's something that I could replace, and I wouldn't have to pay a tech to do anything. I'd like to get this thing at least functional, right? I know the transistors are going to need to be rebiased because they're different than the originals. And plus, this pot here, I don't know, somebody could have easily turned these things just trying to get it to work again, or screwing around with it, right? You don't know. So I know that the bias is going to need to be adjusted on these. You might even have to swap out a couple of resistors. I don't know where I'm going to take it yet for that, but I need to get to the point of at least knowing that the whole thing kind of produces sound as it does now. You know, the channel that does work sounds really good. It's a bit noisy, a lot of hiss, more than I think there should be anyway. But you know, that could be that could be tubes. Certainly, it could be the fact that I'm really not running it through the designated preamp. I mean, I'm running it through this mixer over here, which is probably just as good, but you know, it could be noise from that. I kind of don't think so. I think it could either be these tubes are noisy, although switching them doesn't seem to matter, or it again could just be that the transistors need to be biased. And I say biasing because, you know, I'm just wondering if these guys over here are conducting. You know, they don't have enough bias current to actually do what they're supposed to do, but I would think that would be a completely on proposition, and I am getting a little bit of sound out of that speaker. The bottom line is, I don't know yet, but I'm going to go ahead and swap some things around here and see what I can at least eliminate or find out potentially. So anyways, check back, and hopefully next time you do, I'll have this puppy running, and then maybe at least ready to go to the tech and get the bias set, and then I can start working on the tuner, which again, if you watched the last video, it's really non-functional. I mean, it comes on and everything, and actually buzzes if you play it through a known good amplifier, so I know I've got caps to replace, and who knows what else. But anyways, one thing at a time, right? Alright, check back. Thanks for watching.